Bismillah, alhamdulillah, la ilaha illallah, Allahu Akbar. Today we're continuing again with chapter number 22, the Hajj or pilgrimage. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this chapter, as we started yesterday, He started by telling us that what's going to come next is so enormous, it's so huge. And you as a person, you as a human being, won't be able to handle it if you're not prepared for it. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, although not everybody will be there when the day judgment and the destruction of earth and everything will be destroyed and gone, and the biggest earthquake will happen to end life on earth, not everybody will be there to experience that, but your end will happen when you die. Your exam is done. But Allah is mentioning that, so He's telling us that things will get even enormous. This is, He's saying that this even that sign of ending life on earth is enormous, is huge. It will make everybody really scared. What about the next? When He brings us everybody back. And during these, when He's bringing us everybody back for judgment, for all that stuff. But during that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is questioning. That's what we're going to see as we ended yesterday. Questioning the human being loyalty. Who you're following. Who's your follower? Who are you following? Are you following your desires? You following your ego, your self-interest, or you following the devil, the one who wants you to follow him in hell, or are you following Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? So we ended up yesterday at Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He said, those people who still arguing, who still don't believe that this book, the Quran, last message, final message, complete message, and the Prophet Muhammad alayhi salam, last prophet, came with the last message, unchanged message, the true message. They still argue and they don't want to believe in that message. So they're following the rebellious devil. They rebel. They don't want Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to have the upper hand. But remember, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He controls. He has the paradise and He has the hellfire. He can make you happy, He can make you sad. He can make you whatever. That's all Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala control everything in His hand. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in verse number 4, كُتِبَ عَلَيْهِ أَنَّهُ مَنْ تَوَلَّى. Who will follow the footsteps of the devil? How we follow the footsteps of the devil? By listening to the devil, by following the devil, by doing what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala asks us to stay away from. You start doing. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He told you, don't fornicate, don't gamble, don't cheat, don't steal, don't lie. But the devil keep giving you, it kind of make you, he tried to convince you one way or another until you fall into the trap. فَإِنَّهُ يُضُلُّهُ وَيَهْدِيهِ. The devil will, he'll hold him astray, make him astray, and he will lead him to the hellfire. Ya ayyuhan nas. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is coming to one of the most fundamental questions. And the most fundamental questions, and if the person is not believing in that, basically there is no motive for any crime in our life. in order to prove that crime with evidence and everything, you have to find a motive for that crime. You have to find a reason why a person is doing a crime. In a court of law, a prosecutor will has to find a motive. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense why a person is doing the crime. And that is why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He is telling us in a nutshell the lacking of a belief that Allah will bring us back and hold us accountable physically for our actions and will judge us for what we have committed on this earth, will, if we don't have that belief, you will lack, you won't have the motive to act righteously. So you have to have the motive that this, yes, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will bring me back. And I will be standing before Allah, before the Lord of the heavens and earth. And at that point, He will help me accountable. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, if you don't believe in this, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving us evidence to convince us. يا أيها الناس إن كنتم في ريب من البعث. If you have a doubt that He will recreate you back, resurrect you back, فإنا خلقناكم من تراب. We have created you from dust, from nothing. Dust. He created Adam initially from dust. And then everybody else came by reproduction. And then everybody goes into the dust where we came from. Then He will bring everybody again from the dust. Same way He created Adam initially, He was able to do a prototype, a sample. He'll bring everybody else again, mass production, to bring us back again to, at that time, that's resurrection, and that's accountability, and in there is sentencing. And Allah will sentence some people to hell, and will decree on others to give them and give them the biggest gift, which is the paradise. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He said, if you are ever in doubt, we created you initially from nutfa, which is, nutfa means semen, sperms. ثم من علقة, and that sperm went and it hanged to the uterus of a mom, on the womb of the mother, hanged. ثم من مضغة, that مضغة become like, if you look at the stages, you see it is something like you chewed on, something you chewed on, you have a bite on. That's how the baby looks like. مخلقة وغير مخلقة. مخلقة means Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He will make the organs, make it liver, organs, hand, head, and so on and so forth. وغير مخلقة, those will not continue, will not finish, and have a miscarriage or stillborn baby, so on and so forth. It doesn't finish the whole process. Very important here to show why this book is authentic. Why this book coming from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There is no human intervention. Why? Muhammad, peace be upon him, have no microscope, ultrasound, to see the stages of the baby in the mother's womb. But the baby stages, if you go through the ultrasound and see it, it will be exactly the same thing, this description. The baby hang in the mother's uterus, then it become like a piece which as if body's chewed on small piece of meat, and then these kind of structures, these kind of transformations give you the authenticity. One of the reasons why there's so many, this Quran has almost 1,000 verses about science, all proven 100% correct over the last 50 years. Allah's trying to tell us that this book will challenge you. You will make sure that this حتى يتبين لهم أنه الحق. Indeed, this book will show you, you will prove the authenticity of this book. And when we reach to that technological, we call it the technological progress and all that stuff, we're proving that this book is authentic from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And what's going to happen is haqq, is the truth. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, لِنُبَيِّنَ لَكُمْ. So we will illustrate everything to you. وَنُقِرُّ فِي الْأَرْحَامِ مَا نَشَاءُ إِلَى أَجَلٍ مُسَمَّى. Whatever we decreed that they were going to live and they will continue the pregnancy, they have a specific time, which is the 9 months, less than that. Some kids get born at 6 or 7, or somebody, so the time, even the timing, the day, the second, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala determined that when the baby will be born. So that's what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us, what? That He has control over everything. He can control anything and everything. So why are you challenging Him? Why you don't want to believe in His message and His messengers? ثم نخرجكم طفلا ثم لتبلغوا أشدكم ومنكم من يتوفى ومنكم من يرد إلى أرذل العمر. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He said, after that, you become a baby, you grow up as a baby, and after this, you reach to your age of puberty, when you become stronger. And then from that age until the age of 40, that's a prime age, where the person is strong mentally, physically, able to do things. And then what happened? Within this period, some people will die. And now, as we all know, that a lot of people die at a young age. That's within that time frame, puberty to age of 40. Some people will continue, some people will die. ومنكم من يتوفى ومنكم من يرد. And then others, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is mentioning here that this is the peak time. That age is the age when you need to look for the answers of the truth. For the truth. Why I'm here for. What I'm supposed to do. What's going to happen to me after death. This is your prime time. Because after this, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He said, your mental, your physical ability will deteriorate, will go down. What will happen with that? فَمِنْكُمْ مَنْ يُرَدُّ إِلَى أَرْذَلِ الْعُمُرِ. At that point, the human become old. A lot of people lose memory. A lot of people get dementia. A lot of people get unable to control their bladder, unable to control their speech, unable to control their walk, unable to, so many problems started to come in the body. People they cannot take care of themselves, cleaning wise, smell bad. People will go away from them. They don't want to go close to them. Oh, he smells, she smells, and so on and so forth. They can't take care of themselves. And that is a very important thing. Is just Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us we need to take care of our parents when they reach to that age. Don't throw them in a nursing home. Don't throw them in somebody else, give them to somebody else who would not going to take care of them as you will. Because this is going to happen. It's a cycle. It's going to happen to you. And you want your kids to take care of you. So don't throw your kids, don't throw your parents in nursing homes or somebody else who can abuse them, because they will not going to be at the same mental ability as they used to, or the physical ability as they used to, or the response. They even cannot even talk sometimes. They become sometimes hard-headed. They become sometimes, cannot control their bladder, cannot control there's a lot of things a person at old age cannot do. And that's why it's a sign for us and the message from Allah. Take your prime time from 18, 15, 16, 18 until 40. Look for the truth. And the truth is in front of me right here. That's the Quran, the book of Allah, and the message of Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam. Search it, listen about it, learn about it. Try to get closer, understand it, know more about it. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, لِكَيْ لَا يَعْلَمُ مِنْ بَعْدِ عِلْمٍ شَيْئًا. Indeed, here the deterioration of mental deterioration, it will keep going on. He knows even the knowledge he acquired throughout his life will deteriorate. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make a turn. Talking about the earth. وترى الأرض هامدة فإذا أنزلنا عليها الماء اهتزت وربت وأنبتت من كل زوج بهيج. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made a turn here. We just talking about the human being, reminding him that he created him and he has a prime time. Then his health will deteriorate. Then he said, coming back to earth, die, you come back to earth. Then he said, from there I will bring out. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving this is a parable. He says, you see the land, the earth is staying still. When we send water, it grows, and things comes out of it. And things in pairs come out of it. This is an indication to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is a parable. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is trying to tell us that I will bring you back. After you die, you will be on earth. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will flood that earth with water, and the recreation again will happen. The recycle process is going to happen, and people will come back in pairs. Same way they started life. ذلك بأن الله هو الحق وإنه يحيي الموتى وإنه على كل شيء قدير. This is because Allah is the truth. Allah is the one who is able to do anything. Allah is the one who is capable to do anything and everything. إنه يحيي الموتى. He raised people, animals, anything from dead. وإنه على كل شيء قدير. And indeed he's able to do anything and everything. At any time he wills. At any time he wants. On everything, anything and everything. That is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. أقول قولي هذا استغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين.